And welcome. If you are with us live right now, thank you for joining us this Sunday evening. And if you're watching us on replay, you are equally welcome. So thanks for stopping by after the show. My name's Ray Whitby and I'm from the Aspiring Runners YouTube channel. And it is my privilege to be hosting the 4th ever Eastbourne Parkrun Lockdown Livestream event. And we're going to YouTube and to Facebook and at a later time and on a different day. So hopefully make it more engaging, more accessible for you. So why don't you grab a coffee, grab some cheesy chips and let's go. And wherever you are in the world, whatever you've been up to, you're so welcome, and hopefully you'll really enjoy this show. But I'm not going to be doing this alone. As ever, I have a race director in with me in the studio. So let's bring him in. No real introductions necessary for him. Just say his name, Simon Jones. How you doing, Simon?
Good afternoon. Good evening. Well, I was going to say good afternoon. It's good evening, Ray. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Doing well, doing very well. How's the weekend so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, a bit of a washout yesterday. Obviously, we met up for a run yesterday, so that was really good news for yourself. I'll let you talk about that later. And today's been chores and a nice little run this morning, and it's just been obviously lovely weather. So it's been a good weekend, thank you. I hope yours has been good too.
It has. It's just been very busy, as you say, with the exertion yesterday. But that's for a later time to discuss. But just talking about the show, it's just to say welcome to all the viewers. You have the ability to comment in YouTube and in Facebook. It'd be great if you can just engage with us to comment away. And I think the first question we'd like you to respond to is how the weekend has been from a running perspective. Has it been fun? Has it been frustrating? Has it been fantastic? Or has it just been sheer folly? So wherever you are in the world, where you've been up to, in terms of running, please comment away. We'd love to pick up with you on those things as we go through the show. And coming up on the show, just to say that we've got a fun-packed event and actually some serious points as well, Simon. Isn't that right?
Yeah, no, we're going to be touching on mental health and park run or running exercise later. So something that's especially during lockdown where it's been a lot of people's mental health has been affected seriously. I think it's quite a topical conversation to speak about.
That's right. We also have a quick quiz, and we are introducing a special guest, Debs Pawley, who is a regular at the Eastbourne Parkrun, or at least it was until we had lockdown. We'll be introducing her into the show a little bit later on. But I think first off, what we should get through, we've called it the 2-minute news items because we wanted it to be short. But I think we should just bring up some of the news items right now. First on the list, we have Parkrun HQ. Simon, did you want to lead on that for us, please?
Yes, so New Zealand have had their third park run since returning from lockdown, which is fantastic. They've had no attendance impact because of COVID, because obviously COVID-19 was eradicated pretty much from New Zealand before they brought it back. So their attendance has been able to go back full time. So it's been fantastic news there. But for the rest of the world and for the UK, there's still no real change. We're still under lockdown. I do believe that the parkrunner, obviously, I don't think they're using the same scientists as Boris is, but they're obviously looking at the science. They're looking at when they can come back across the world. They've even mentioned in their latest update that they are potentially going to be coming back whilst COVID is still around, but we don't know when. We don't know what the R rate needs to be. We don't know anything at the moment, but obviously Parkrun HQ know all about that. But their updates have been fantastic. So, we just have to wait and see, really. Just have to wait and see.
And they have a weekly blog update. So if you go into the link, the link is in the description below the video, or at least it will be once this show has concluded. You'll be able to find up. I think they update every Tuesday as to what's happening in the UK and around the world. And it really is a case of watch this space. Of course, it doesn't preclude us from meeting according to the local government or the national government's guidelines and whatever it is in your country. Obviously, please obey the laws. But for us, certainly in the name of Part Q, we are not meeting just yet. But also the coronavirus is still having massive impacts around the world, of course. And it is also affecting a number of other events too, which brings us up onto the next one of marathons and a 10K. So there's some news items coming through, and it does keep changing week on week. We're looking at the moment at the Chicago Marathon. Chicago has now been cancelled. due to go in October. But again, because of the coronavirus, the organisers have had to make an assessment and determine what is right for them, for the participants, as well as the environment that's going to be established in. But it's not just Chicago as well. We're also seeing that Hamburg, which we had announced, I think it was in the last episode,
yes,
potentially running in September, and it was going to be a restricted participation of about 10,000 plus the elite runners. But within 2 weeks, they've now announced that has been cancelled as well.
Yeah,
really watching the space and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I think they've probably made the right decision at the moment. There's talks of second waves coming in France and Germany, so I think they've probably made the right decision there at the moment.
Yeah, and just say that obviously, wherever it is locally, organisers are having to respond as things develop, and news is coming in. The scientific data that's helping to support some of the decision making can change as well. Maybe not by huge degrees, but just in terms of the accessibility of the safety, the health and safety of these events. So things can change, and even with the best intentions in the world, obviously things may change within a very short space of time. I think we've seen that in the news recently, in national news, certainly in the UK, but we are now seeing it in race events as well. So even though we can have lists and lists of COVID secure details and regulations, still there has to be a decision to be made, and the closer it gets, obviously they don't want to run ahead with these events, attract as many people, get all them booked in, and then to have to make a major cancellation nearer the time. But potentially we do have something local to us, do we not?
Yes, we do. It was announced that Eastbourne 10K have revised from their June date, which obviously was postponed, to the November the 29th, I believe it is now. So that's good news. That will be subject to obviously the COVID restrictions and everything, I would imagine. I know UK athletics have released some guidance on road races, which has come out over the last week. And that's obviously where Eastbourne 10K have turned around and gone, yeah, we can do it on this day, this time. We'll do it for this period. But again, we'll have to wait and see. If a second spike happens come the beginning of winter, who knows?
That's right.
But let's say one announcement that is coming out. One announcement is coming out on Tuesday. Is for London Marathon. So London Marathon being the last of the major marathon events that still is yet to be cancelled till next year. With that, there will be an announcement for that on Tuesday. So anyone that's watching this that fortunately is fortunate enough to be, in the marathon in October, might be next year now. But again, the announcement will be on Tuesday, so people can look forward to that.
Yeah, not too long to wait. And just to say that on the local running scene, Mike has just shared this, that the running track in Eastbourne is now open, a few races starting up, with some to progress. So yeah, fantastic news. Of course, we know that people are meeting in bubbles as well, with his comment as well. Training bubbles are now getting bigger, but I still think the national guidelines in the UK is to restrict them to 6 maximum, or 5 runners plus 1 trainer. And of course, keeping these bubbles far apart. But of course, if there are lots of bubbles, they tend to have a coalescence effect if we're not careful. So maybe just spray ourselves in Teflon, just to make sure that the bubbles are far apart, perhaps. Stuart, you're welcome. You said you had a super run with seafront shufflers at Beachy Head this morning. How were the conditions? It'd be great to know. Seemed quite windy throughout the day on the beachfront. Hopefully not too taxing for you. Back into the news. We have Garmin. Garmin has broken. Now, we were contemplating whether we're actually going to sing this along to Morning Has Broken. We did a rehearsal and we felt that perhaps we should just avoid it.
Definitely not.
It's been a big thing. It's impressive that it's been down for more than 24 hours. And I think I did see a news item just before I came on to say that the hackers have now demanded a $10 million ransom out of Garmin to allow their websites to get set back up. So I'm not sure how true that is. Who knows what's going on? But yeah, it's affecting a lot of runners out there.
I've got £5 in my pocket. I will put that towards that 10 million now just to do it. So Garmin's been broken for, I believe, 72 hours now. So, I know that I use my Garmin. I upload to Garmin Connect, and I've not been able to do that for 3 days now. So, I need to know how many miles I've done. But it will come back on at some point, no doubt. But yeah, it's been hacked and it will come back. We'll just have to wait and see when.
And there are means and ways around it as well. Just because the internet facility and connection for Garmin Connect isn't working right now, there are ways of getting the data off of your Garmin device and then getting it uploaded to whatever running platform, media platform that you're using, like Strava, for example. And I know one of our crew, Ben Pauly, has come up with a video that can explain how to get your fit file from your watch onto your computer and then upload it to Strava direct. And that is on the Eastbourne Parkrun Facebook page. So again, we'll find that link, we'll put it in the description below, so you don't need to panic too much. Although having the Garmin Connect system, when you get used to it, it's very difficult to break habits on a whim, I found. So yeah, maybe we should have a quick whip around and see how much we could raise for Garmin. But I'm sure they're not short of cash, but who wants to give in to such demands? So yeah, stay strong, Garmin. And now looking into the running community, we do have some news that's come up, and one in particular is a Couch to 5K graduation. And very recently, they have had, and it's connected in Eastbourne, it's through King's Church, organised by Duncan Taylor, Ross Thompson and Mike Revnell. If you're in the studio, it'd be great if you just shout out and comment. But yeah, well done to you three for organising. It's 2 separate bubbles to take on 9 individuals that are doing their Couch to 5K, and I do believe that all 9 have graduated. So yeah, congratulations, mega applause.
Well done, everyone.
I think we do have a photo of the graduation. So well done, team effort, it always is, but especially to those that have actually done the running themselves, because it's quite a feat. I mean, I don't know if you remember, Simon, yourself, going back all those years to when you first started running, or maybe you were running straight out of the womb and 5K. But I remember it was a struggle. I remember it was a struggle for myself. And teaming up with a good friend of mine, we headed down to the seafront and we would run a kilometre. He would last a little bit better than I would. I'll be out of breath, so we'd just stroll for a little bit and then go again. But those who were kind of in the days when Catch to 5K probably wasn't as a program as well known.
Yeah, I was exactly the same. I remember going out for my first run, and I lived a mile from the pier, and I could barely make it halfway. So it was ridiculous. But then I just built myself up over time. I was following a program I found online for marathon training, because I was training for a marathon at the time, and it just seemed to work and go from there, really. So happy days.
Fantastic. And it would be great to know what's happening in your neck of the woods as well. If you've got things that you want to mention, achievements that you know about or you have achieved yourself, it would be great. So just email the show at aspiringrunners@gmail.com or eastbourne@parkrun.com, in fact. And again, those email addresses are in the description below. And that brings us on to the last news item, a very important one. There is a big announcement, and I really should bring him into a solo. Simon.
Well, for those that follow the Facebook, Eastbourne Parkrun on Facebook, they would have known that a few months ago it was announced that myself and my partner Amy were having a baby, which is due for the end of October, which is great news. But this week as well, I also proposed to Amy, and she said yes. So, happy days. It's been a great few months.
So that just leaves me to play this little thing for you both. I am a romantic. I think it's great. I think we do need to celebrate these things. So not well done, but congratulations through and through.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, and moving on to the next item in the show, we're going to look at the quick quiz. And hey, Duncan, I know I've just seen you come in, just to say well done, mate, for helping, because it was a team effort between yourself, Roz, and Mark, to get the 9 through, especially through lockdown. It's quite an effort to get Couch to 5K graduation sorted out. Impressive. So well done, Duncan, and welcome back from a holiday, because I know where you've been. Anyway, and it's Isle of Wight, by the way, before we go there.
He's not having to isolate for 14 days.
Oh, he should be all right. Yeah, no Spain in there at all. Right, moving on. We've got the quick quiz. So this is just for fun. You don't need to email at all. So quick quiz, and we'll give the answers at the end of the show. But question one, and you can type them into the comments, and I think Simon and Debs, you're in the studio looking at the feed, so maybe you can just ensure whoever's come up with the first answer correctly, they'll get major kudos points, and we'll have a tally towards the end. So question one, the first sub 4-minute mile was achieved in 1954. Who was the British athlete who accomplished this feat? It's question one. Question two. The Marathon des Sables is often described as the toughest foot race in the world. Which African country does it take place in? Now, Simon, you are forbidden from answering that question because I know that you know.
Yes, I do.
And yeah, nobody texting him to bug him either. All right, question three. In 1994 movie Forrest Gump, how long does Forrest keep running for in years and months? Question four. In 1897, which American city hosted the first modern-day marathon? I don't know if we've got any viewers coming in from the States at the moment. I'm not sure if that's an easy one or not so much. Oh, and then the fifth question. The treadmill is an English invention from 1817. What was its original intention? So there you go, 5 quick questions. Great to see the answers coming up. I think, Mike, yeah, you got it right on the first one. So yeah, it'd be great to see if you've got them all right. So major kudos points to Mike Thompson for getting the right answer in straight away. So that brings us on to the next item, looking at the impact on running health. This is a big topic, a very serious topic, and we don't want to alter the mood somewhat. And I do find myself somewhat inadequately prepared in terms of background and experience to talk knowledgeably about this subject in any great depth. And it's always great on a show like this to actually incorporate additional experience. And I think this is a great time to now bring in the one, the only, the Debs Pauly. Hey, Debs.
Hello. Hi.
How you doing, Debs?
I'm not too bad. How are you both?
Doing
Very
well.
well, thank you.
I think this could be interesting because unfortunately your feed's coming in very laggy.
I know. Unfortunately, the software that you're using is hammering our Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Oh, dear. Never mind.
Okay, we'll push on and see how long we can last with
We're
this.
too poor for good Wi-Fi.
Well, what we'll do next time is we'll get a couple of tin cans and a long bit of string between the homes, and we'll figure it out that way, perhaps.
That'd be good. Thank you.
Excellent. So yeah, Debs, it'd be great if you could very briefly just give us a background of your experience in terms of mental health and its impact, or the impact of running on mental health, please.
Yeah, sure. So a couple of years ago, I had never run at all, and really wasn't very fit. And I applied for a job that involved a physical element. There was also a kind of physical test involved, and I realised that probably wasn't going to pass the test if I didn't do something about it. So my husband Ben and I decided that we would embark on the Couch to 5K program, and we both completed that. And that was kind of where it started, really. I was really surprised that I was even able to run for 30 minutes. But yeah, it was great. I mean, I started off with a pair of old trainers and a pair of, normal net leggings from Next and an old t-shirt. And yeah, just went out with Ben and did the program together. And it was just really good to do that alongside another person. And not just do it on your own. And I passed the test and I got the job, which was really good. So yeah, that's kind of where my running journey started. It did take Ben 6 months to persuade me to actually go to parkrun. So yeah, so that's kind of
so
where
there
it
are some
started,
serious challenges between, say, the condition that you found yourself in and getting into parkrun. But since that you had joined the parkrun community, you'd obviously come back time and time again, and you've been an instrumental volunteer as well. And you fit it well into the team of volunteers, and another major shout out for every volunteer around the globe, certainly those doing parkrun. But how have you found running in that environment, and how has that helped with the mental health?
Okay, so yeah, I found the training element for the job really tough. And basically during the training, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety. I'd kind of had a lot of trouble with my mental health in the past. I have also been diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, which is related to childhood trauma. So I was kind of dealing with that. And every time I struggled, I was always getting told that I had depression. And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm depressed. I'm a little bit, I don't think that's what it is. And in the end, I saw a really fantastic doctor who diagnosed me with anxiety, which made a lot more sense because, a lot of the symptoms that I were having were not about having a low mood. They were about, an increased heart rate and feeling sick and feeling very, very kind of anxious around people. So, yeah, and unfortunately, I actually lost my job as a result of my mental health because there just wasn't enough provision for somebody with anxiety or with mental health in the job that I was doing, and I lost my job because of it, because the people that I was working with just didn't understand, and that was devastating. And I basically had a bit of a mental breakdown, and running is really the only thing that kept me going. It was the only thing that got me out of the house. For the first kind of week after I lost my job, I was just wrapped up in a blanket on the sofa, and I just couldn't even talk to anyone because I was just so devastated, and it was just so awful. And yeah, I just got my trainers on and I got my leggings back on, and I just got out and I ran and went along to parkrun every week. And it was just really nice because at parkrun everyone accepts you, and it doesn't matter if you walk, it doesn't matter if you walk and run, it doesn't matter if you run, it doesn't matter if you do it in 18 seconds, it doesn't matter if you do it in an hour. And just everyone was really, really friendly and really kind, I think. And I just really felt part of a community that cared about each other. And so that really, really helped me. But I was absolutely terrified. And it's one of those things that every single time I go running, I feel sick beforehand and I feel anxious. And I think because I'm got quite a kind of crazy, bubbly personality, people don't really realise how much I struggle. But it's a way of dealing and coping with it. But I love supporting other people and making other people smile and making other people feel like they've really done a good job. And that's why I go to parkrun. I enjoy the run, that's lovely, but I go to parkrun because I want to find people at parkrun who are struggling and give them some support and some encouragement. And actually giving others support and encouragement is what helps me with my anxiety. Being able to tell other people that, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So parkrun has been an integral part of my recovery, I think.
Superb. Sorry, Ray. I just want to say, for someone, I was diagnosed with depression back in 2009 after not dealing with anything to do with a car accident I had in 2001. So I echo Deb's comments. For me, running it wasn't the only thing that helped me, but it was one of the key elements of my coping mechanism. Because I don't think you ever, Debs, as you've said, you with your anxiety, you feel sick with regard, before you go for a run. For me, I knew, I was told by my doctor that, in fact, I was diagnosed with depression 3 days before running my first ever Eastbourne half marathon. And for me, and the problem was for me is I wasn't mentally ready for it. But my doctor turned around and said to me, you've got to do it. You've got to keep running. You keep doing the running because it will help. It does. And I think for me, and echoing your comments, the sense of achievement you get from getting involved in running or exercise in general, because obviously the endorphins that are released, that's a scientific word for you crazy kids out there, endorphins. But the endorphins and the runner's high you get, from doing these things is fantastic. And for me, my Amy got me back involved with parkrun probably about 18 months ago. I kind of fell out of love with running for a bit. I wasn't in a very good headspace. Probably about 2.5 years ago now, and got back involved with parkrun. And the Debs, as you said, the sense of achievement, not just for me, but for others, you know, cheering them on, and just doing it, you know. As I agree with Juliet, the hardest part is getting out the door. But you know what? Once you do it, and things like parkrun, because it's all inclusive, it is for everyone, regardless of race, color, creed, ability. You know, it's so engaging, and the connection with everyone that you have, it's just fantastic. So, you know, I'd want to, you know, thank you, Debs, for coming on and sharing your story, because I think a lot of people out there, especially during lockdown, probably do not realize that their mental health has been affected. They're probably still, you know, keeping their physical health together to an extent. You know, I've seen lots of people I've never seen running at 6 o'clock in the morning along Eastbourne seafronts, which is fantastic. And just hopefully they're looking after their mental health as well. So, you know, for me, I'm trying to think of, you know, is there any advice, any bits of advice that you can give our viewers out there for, you know, anything that you've said today, really, you know, any extra advice?
I think it's just with mental health, it's about communication. That's the most important thing. And I know it's, you know, you feel like you're almost trapped in your own head in some ways when you have issues with depression and anxiety, and you feel very alone, very isolated, very vulnerable. But actually, if you just tell someone, I think that's the best thing that you can possibly do. Just tell somebody about how you are feeling, and you will be surprised how many people out there are that have had mental health issues or are struggling with mental health issues. So it's about being brave enough to communicate that, because, you know, if you share that burden with other people, then that will immediately kind of make it easier, because somebody else now knows, and somebody else can hopefully encourage you and support you. But also exercise is really important for mental health. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you just walk around the block or do the couch to 5k or go for a cycle or skip in your garden or run around with your dog, you know, it doesn't matter. But actually, I know it's really, really, really hard to get out of your house when you're struggling mentally, but just put on some shoes. Even don't put on some shoes, it's fine. Just open your front door and leave the house. And I often listen to music when I go for walks and things, because it's just something else to focus on. So I'm not thinking about the fact I'm doing exercise, because, you know, for a lot of people who have mental health problems, being outside and doing physical exercise is huge. So I'll listen to music, and that way I can kind of not think too much about what I'm doing and just do it. So yeah, and get together with those people that you've communicated with. Say, hey, I want to go out for a walk, come with me, and you will feel better for getting out the house.
Sorry, one thing is that it's not a cure. It's rare to find a miracle that as soon as you step out the door, you link up with other people, you become part of a running club, a running community, and yes, they embrace you, you feel comfortable in their presence to be able to talk about these issues. But it's not always going to be an instant cure. And in fact, a lot of these issues, certainly in mental health, that they will be there, but probably they become suppressed. I just wondering if you could just engage us with a few thoughts about you know, what that represents to you, and you know, what other strategies could be put in place.
I think for me, it was really good to have a good mental health professional who I could talk to. The person that actually told me that it was anxiety. So I've, you know, had quite a lot of interesting help from the NHS, and that's been really good. So it's important to be honest with a healthcare professional who you trust. And I take medication as well for my anxiety, which is something I never wanted to do. I did not want to take medication, but actually I realized that I really needed to try. And I think that balance of for me of taking the medication, which just sort of suppresses things a little bit, has really helped. But that mixed in with doing some physical things and talking to people has really helped. But yeah, I mean, with most mental health conditions, I anticipate I've always had anxiety, and I always probably will do, but it's about learning coping mechanisms that work for you. So
yeah, I massively agree. Yeah, I think also, you know, talking about talking to people as well, I know that you know, for me, I regularly run with a person that a friend of mine, and we regularly run together. And one day we could be running and not really talk to each other because we're just not in that frame of mind. The next time she could be rabbiting on at me for 45 minutes, and then the next one it could be me rabbiting at her. But I think because we are talking whilst we're running and just getting everything off our chest, when you come back and you just feel like the weight's been lifted off your shoulders for that period of time. Just so that, I think that's fantastic. And you said about going out for a run and listening to music. There's sometimes, if I've had a particularly bad day at work, or something's happened and it's just niggling in the back of my head, I'll just go for a run, whether it be with music, a podcast, because I am now listening to podcasts on my run, so that's always good to know. Or just sometimes just to go for a run and just listen to what's happening around. Sometimes it could be, if I go out early in the morning along the seafront, there's no one there, but the tide's high, the waves, the wind, the trees, it's just fantastic. And it just releases the right chemicals and just put the world to rights, sometimes without even realizing. So it's a fantastic thing. So anyone that's out there that is struggling with anything, that potentially, we all know that the worst thing that can happen with people with mental health issues, we know that, I don't really want to talk about that really, but we all know that the worst thing that could happen, but as you said, the best thing to do is just to talk about it and talk about with someone. You don't have to go out for a run. You can go, as you said, you can go for a walk. You can do something that you haven't done that day. Go for a walk around the shops and buy a chocolate bar that you haven't had for a while. It's those little wins every day that build up over time and make you feel better. And again, anyone that's out there that, probably isn't commenting about their own mental health at the moment, because, that's absolutely fine. There are, they can email into the Eastbourne at parkrun.co.uk. Yeah, there we go. Eastbourne at parkrun.com or aspiringrunners@gmail.com. And if you just want to go for a walk with someone and just talk about things, or you just want to get out of the house, we can, the community, the core team, the core volunteer team is more than willing to help, to help out. So please don't feel alone in any of this, because, a problem shared is a problem halved. That is absolutely fantastic. If someone else takes on some of that burden, it just makes things a little bit easier. And actually, someone else's perspective.
Cool. So it looks like we've gone.
You can make it seem like it really issue. All of these fantastic that can happen.
Sorry, Simon, you just cut out briefly. Just trying to fill the gap. Once you've re-engaged.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, go back.
Yeah, no. Sorry. Yeah, so I think the fact it's those little wins, and it's just making sure that, sometimes having a different perspective on something. And, the depression I had, was due to an event that happened in the early 2000s, and I didn't deal with it mentally. And it built up and built up and built up over years. It caused the breakup of my marriage. But I've dealt with it. I've been to counselling. I've, done bits and pieces to kind of get me through it. And I know when I'm particularly low, I just need to get out for a run. Sometimes it's easier said than done, because, when it's -3, blowing a gale, chucking it down with rain, and you just need to go for a run, sometimes it's like, I don't really want to do this. But as was said before, just putting your shoes on and just taking that first step out the door is the best thing you can do. Because even if it's a 1 mile run, a 1 mile walk, a 1K walk, a walk around the block, a walk to your next door neighbours, whatever it is, it feels so much better afterwards.
That's right, and it's powerful stuff. So thank you both for sharing on this topic. And as Mike says, I think even with mental health issues considered, that maybe people don't realise what they're going through. But I have found, and echoing Mike's comment here about getting really grouchy if he doesn't get his daily fix, my wife will testify to this as well, that if I don't get out after a really stressful day, she is forcing me out the door. She can see within myself that I'm just getting so agitated, and I think probably there are levels of agitation that do lead to complications in the mind. So getting out there, and it is about endorphin release, it is about getting the right biochemistry. It's just also working through that, de-stressing the physical side of the body as well as the mental side of the body. And this is where running has such a massive impact on mental health in a very positive way. And I know that there are a number of charities out there that are advocating this as well. It would just be good if you could just mention them for us, please, Simon.
Yeah, well, mind comes to mind, should I say? I ran the London Marathon a few years ago, and the Prince Harry, Prince William, and Kate were there. They set the event off, and Mind was on there. Was the charity for them. They're big advocates for Mind, and they it's just fantastic what they can do and then they can do to help. They working with Mind and other bits and pieces. There's lots of other bits that can happen. I know that England Athletics have their hashtag Run and Talk initiative. So what we've been talking about is going for a run and talking to someone. That's supported by Mind, and it's brilliant. It's just getting people out and about to talk about their mental health, sharing experiences, removing the stigma of mental health. Men are the worst people to get out and talk. We just, stiff upper lip. Yeah, no, we'll be all right. No, I'm fine. But actually, I've got friends of mine that I know that have struggled themselves, and they've got into running, and to see the physical and mental difference in them after they've been running is fantastic. As you said, it's not the cure. It's not a cure because it's a daily battle. I wake up some mornings, I don't even realise it, and I've dropped into a low. But going out for a run, or I found that diet has helped. Stop eating, not eating as much. Not eating as much processed food kind of helped for a bit as well. So there's lots of ways out there, but I find that running is a fantastic way of helping. It's just. Well, there you go. So yep. Jane has said, even clearing the snow. It's, as I say, it's those little wins. It's doing that one thing a day. When I was first diagnosed with depression in 2009, I was told, go out and do something that you haven't done for a while, even if it is just a case of putting on a pair of shoes and running, or just walking just around the house for a bit because you haven't worn those shoes for a while. Calm is a great charity as well. So there's lots and lots of bits. There's lots of help out there. And anything that we can do as the running community within Eastbourne, within Parkrun, there's so many clubs out there. And no doubt that they're all very inclusive of people with mental health. Some people don't want to join a club. Some people just want to go and run on their own. So for some people, probably the stigma of I've got mental health issue, can I go join a club or something like that? There are lots of people within clubs that will have mental health issues and will be accepting of those because they know the benefits of doing it as well. So I just think it's such a big topic to talk about, but something that we have to talk about because there will be people watching this that are struggling. And lockdown has probably proved even more so for anyone that's been at home for 15 weeks before going back to doing any kind of work. It would have played on your mind. Not everyone is quite happy in their own self. Sometimes I love being on my own and just putting the telly on or just pottering around and doing something, but actually I do feel better when I'm with other people, and Parkrun has certainly helped me with that and my mental health. So it's been brilliant.
Yeah, one question I've got for both of you is about running clubs as well. So let's say that the individual can recognise in themselves that they are struggling, and they somehow can get the trainers on and step through the door. They go for a run. Now is obviously not the right time to be able to engage with the parkrun community because we're not running at the moment. But if they recognise that there are running clubs out there, how do you go about finding the right running club? Now, myself, I am a lone runner. I wouldn't join the Lonely Goats. I think they're a great running club, but I think there are too many lonely goats. I've said it before, to actually call themselves lonely, because there are too many together. They are not alone. But if you are getting out the door, you recognize that you want to be a part of the running club, locally, how do you go about doing it and finding the right one? And I have heard tales where people have tried this and they've joined the local running club that they've found, and they've come across a very elitist, snobby type attitude, turning up in Asics, whereas everybody is wearing Nike's Vaporfly Zooms, and just feeling a little bit unwelcome. So throwing the question out there, how do you find the right club, or is there more than one?
Debs?
I'm not part of a running club because I haven't quite got there on my anxiety journey. Have to be honest. But I think that you would just, you can use the internet, or if you're part of the parkrun community, there are lots of people that are part of running clubs that you could ask. You could even, just email in to Eastbourne Parkrun, and they would be able to give you a kind of comprehensive idea of what running clubs there are in the local area. And I guess you just need to go along and try it out, see which one is best for you. And it's okay to go along a couple of times and then not go back if it's not for you. I don't think anyone is really like upset or offended. Yeah, they might, come back to you and go, oh, was everything all right? And you just say, it wasn't really for me, but you're doing a great job. So I guess you just, suck it and see sort of thing. You just go to a club and see how it is. But that is a really, really, really hard thing to do when you have anxiety, and that's why I haven't done it.
Yeah, I think from just to add my 2 pennies worth in as well. I think there are lots of clubs in Eastbourne and around the country, around the world, where there will, and some clubs will have elite runners. I know that there are some very good runners at Rovers. Some very good runners at Hailsham Harriers that would be called as the local elite, shall we say? But there's a lot of the clubs that will be very inclusive of everyone, and pretty much every club will be inclusive of everyone. So I think it's probably talking with friends. If you're friends with other runners, talk to them.
Yeah.
I know that Wes is very good down at Tempo in the town. There you go. Duncan's just said that. So he can Wes can point people in the right direction. I know that within the parkrun community, we've got people from all different clubs. So we can all, it's whether you want it on, if Juliet's just, turned around and said that, if you're very new to running, then there are some very good startup groups that you can get into, and then if you want to progress on further, then there's other clubs that you can work with as well. So I think it's just, again, talking to people about what they feel is best. I was part of a club before. I'm not affiliated with anyone. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a lonely goat, but I do want their merchandise. So I'm not promoting anything there, but I would love to have their shirt.
I think I'm probably a lonely llama.
Lonely. There you go. Latest
all by myself.
Hot off the press. We're going to sort out the logo after the show. It'll go live in direct competition. I'll just say to Duncan, yes, I'd love to join. If you want to buy me the T-shirt, I will wear it. How about that? Okay, let's go to there. So yeah, I think the underlying motto here, certainly from our perspective, is that whatever position you're at, if you are capable, however you do it, it's just to get out there and run. And whether it's running, jogging, shuffling, hopping, skipping, jumping along the way, it doesn't really matter. Parkrun is an all-embracive community. It has been and will be when it resumes. And whether you were sprinting around there at high speed for a sub 16 minute, which has been done a couple of times, believe it or not, at the Eastbourne Parkrun. I know the course record is still sub 14 minutes. It's incredible. But for the rest of the running community at Eastbourne Parkrun, there would be some walkers, and there'd be those that do a little bit of running and a little bit of walking. I think there's even been a 3-legged walker as well.
That has, yeah, that was last year for our wedding anniversary. My husband and I did Eastbourne Parkrun 3-legged. It is a lot harder than you think it is.
And it's great, and I think that's the wonderful attitude that we need in society as well. Is that we can take you, whatever your views are, that we are all inclusive, and it's about trying to just help you, identify you, support you, embrace you as best as we can, as much as you would let us. And it is a barrier. There is a significant barrier for many people to be able to step out, and even in a crowd, to just raise their hand up and say, actually, I'm alone. I just need to talk to people. Just saying hello to somebody. I remember in my first experience, the first 6 months of Parkrun, I just found it very daunting being in a crowd of 200-300 people, and then trying over those months, it's just recognizing faces and then just hi, and then coming back again. But if you are brave enough, just go into those meetings in the pre-run brief, and you'll instantly be identified as a newcomer. You get your name announced. Just stand up and shout, wear a funny hat. People gather around you. We're here to support you. And I think that's the wonderful thing about the running community, especially the park running community. It's just a wonderful ethos to embrace.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, I know that parkrun has been fantastic for my mental health. It's been fantastic for my, I think running in general has been fantastic for my journey with my mental health. I do other things as well, a bit of cycling, a bit of swimming. But running has been the key for me for years. And I know that, getting back involved with parkrun, achieving my 50 a couple of years ago and getting my 100 shirt has been fantastic. I think by now I would have got my 25 volunteer shirts if it wasn't for a pandemic. Anyway, but I think for me, running and actually getting back involved with parkrun has been fantastic, because it's, I think if you arrange to go somewhere or run with someone, you can then be held accountable as well. If you don't do it, and people kind of want to see you there and want to see you succeed, so you kind of feel like you have to do it, and actually then you're then accountable to lots of other people that if you don't turn up. So it's been brilliant. Yeah,
just a very recent example was yesterday, that I planned to do a sub 22-minute 5K. Now, I've done it once before last year, but in the last few months, I've come down with patellofemoral pain syndrome, and it's actually been very awkward to run. And I basically had cut out all the distance, any speed work, and only doing about 5K in a week of training, which is disastrous, of trying to build in that kind of attempt. But then over time with rehab, got to a point where I felt, okay, started the training program again, did 4 weeks, and then had to do the final run itself, which took place yesterday. And I found myself facing this alone. Okay, part of my running channel on YouTube, I wanted to film it, but then I was faced with this dilemma of having a defunct Garmin watch, or at least the data I couldn't get access to, trying to hold the camera on a rainy course with a condition. I didn't know if I was ever going to succeed. So I just put the call out there, and that's where it does take a little bit of bravery just to say, well, hey, can anybody help? And who stepped up?
Me.
So it was great for me. So I had to turn up on time. I had to be there. I had to bring my A game as best as I could. And then, Simon, you were saying the same as well, that you had agreed to do it. So therefore, you've got to take on the responsibility of turning up on time. Not only that, you had to take on the responsibility of executing that pace, a 4-minute, 23-minute kilometre pace.
And holding a camera and saying hello to everyone that we ran past, and saying hello to all the dogs as well. It was bedlam, but it was brilliant, and I'm glad I could have helped you yesterday.
And it was fantastic. But there is a video coming up later this week that will show you exactly how I got on, so please don't give the game away. And it was a challenge, let's just say that, a real challenge. But it was really excellent as well. But when we went round and did the run, just how many Eastbourne Parkrunners that we saw. It's phenomenal. It's still a gathering point, not at the same time, but it is in the same place. It is our Shangri-La, is where we're all gathering to. So yes, we miss it. we're being patient. Of course, we're going to follow the rules for Parkrun HQ without a doubt, but we hope and pray that it will come back soon because we need it. But there are run clubs, they're out there, and would be absolutely fantastic. If you can get in touch, either with this show, Eastbourne at parkrun.com, get in touch with one of us and we will help you on to the next steps. There are a number of runners out there that are connected with many different clubs, and they'll be able to do the hand holding. It won't be physical, obviously, with social distancing, but they will be able to help you, support you through it, and that's what we want to do. Yeah, absolutely great. So I think final comments, please, Simon, Debs.
I just want to thank Natalie and Mike, basically the chiefs of Eastbourne Parkrun, for getting me involved on a more, I put my hands up and said I'd like to do it, but encouraging me and keeping me in, they've just been fantastic. And the whole parkrun community is just awesome. I think we're known, I don't think, I know we're known as the friendliest parkrun. So that just says a lot about who we are as a community and the inclusivity that we have within the group. So we're such a good bunch of people, and from all walks of life, and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, I guess if I was saying anything at the end here, just to reiterate that offer, that if you are struggling, or if you want some company, if you're feeling a bit isolated, a bit lonely, then you can just email into Eastbourne Parkrun HQ, and we can kind of hook you up with somebody who you can have a chat with, go out for a walk, go out for a run, go and look at the sea. Yeah, that it's just really, really important that if you are struggling, that you tell somebody, because that first step will make all the difference. It really, really will.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, again, thank you both so much for sharing your testimonies today. Very, very powerful stuff. And I can see from the comments coming in as well that it's really touching on people's heartstrings. Yeah, so absolutely powerful, wonderful stuff. So just to wrap up the show, let's give you the answers to the quiz. We got the right answer for the first question, which was Roger Bannister. The Marathon des Sables, which country does it take place in? Go on then, Simon, put us out of our misery.
No, I want you to. I don't want. You told me not to say anything, so you need to do it.
Sahara Desert in Morocco.
It was Morocco.
Yep. 1994, the movie Forrest Gump. How long does Forrest keep running for in years and months? Debs?
Too long.
Too long.
No idea. Forever. Long enough to grow a really big beard.
A mammoth endurance run. And I know that there are a lot of people that have been looking at the benefits, or hopefully it's the benefits rather than disadvantages, of running day by day, but running every day for 3 years and 2 months just seems to be an insane amount of work. In 1897, which US city hosted the first modern day marathon? It was where the Tea Party's held?
Boston.
Yeah, there we go. And then, come on, then, you've got to have a comment on this one. The treadmill, English invention, what was its original intention?
I don't know, pressing apples for cider.
Dog walker is close. It was, in fact, punishment for prisoners.
I thought that said pensioners at first. I didn't think it said prisoners. It's like punishment for pensioners. That's awful.
Oh dear. Well, no, we're not going to go there at all. Not going to go there. So it's just for me to say thank you both, Simon and Debs in the studio, for joining me on the show today. Just say a great thank you to all those that are watching live and have been commenting. That's been fantastic. It's been interactive. We've absolutely loved to participate with you as well and interact in that way. Just to say, yeah. Great, thanks for everybody. Really supporting the running community wherever you are in the world. It's just, just a real privilege to be a part of it as well. So yeah, from our corner of the world to yours, wherever you may be, just thanks once again. Just say run safe, and yeah, just keep on running. As Simon's Dory-esque running motto is, just keep running. Well, take care. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some more news, another great show, lots of fun things to do, as well as the more serious technical items of running as well. So thank you once again, and take care. And any information you need, it'll be in the description down below. But yeah, for now, Stay safe and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.